Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for You. I'm Angeline.
And I'm Erin.
So, Erin, is there one thing that you have too much of?
Probably books. I live in a very small house, and I'm starting to run out of room for all of them. But what about you, Angeline?
Well, I can never have too many shoes, and I especially love high heel shoes. You know, the ones that are really, they make you taller?
Right.
Well, I like how they make me look because they make me look taller. And I love the sound it makes when I walk. Okay. In fact, when I was 2 years old, I would wear my aunt's high heel shoes. And I called them cock shoes because of the sound it made.
Oh, well, do you wear high heels every day?
You know what? I used to, but because I have back problems, I can't really do that anymore. I'm getting older and it's just it's painful after a full day. Yeah.
What do you know about high heel history?
Nothing, actually.
Okay, well, for someone who likes high heels so much, maybe you should be ready to learn more about some high heels.
You're right. I'd like to know more.
Okay, well, why don't we get started on today's article?
Okay.
Reading.
High heels, fashion or foolish? World's famous actress Julia Roberts made waves on the red carpet at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival. This was due to her choice of shoes, or rather, her lack of them. In 2015, several female guests had been turned away from one of the festival's events for wearing flats. Roberts went barefoot to challenge the festival's rule that women must wear high heels to red carpet events. What's the deal with these painful shoes anyway? Hundreds of years ago, high heels were originally designed for men, not women. In fact, they were even considered necessary for Persian soldiers. When Persian soldiers rode horses, they used high heels to keep their feet in the stirrups. This allowed them to stay steady on their horses as they used their bows and arrows. At the end of the 16th century, Persian leader Shah Abbas I wanted Europe's help to take down the Ottoman Empire. Persian representatives started visiting the courts of Russia, Germany, and Spain. Soon after, European men adopted the Persian representatives' shoes as their own preferred symbol of masculinity.
Okay, so our article begins with this sentence. World-famous actress Julia Roberts made waves on the red carpet at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival. So before we talk about what happened at this festival, let's take a look at our shortcut for you.
Shortcut for you.
Have you heard One Leg Pat? We're getting a new captain.
It's a great shame the old captain was eaten by a sea monster.
I wonder what the new captain will be like.
Well, so long as he doesn't make waves, I'll be happy.
But if he can make waves, that'll help us sail the ship.
That's not what I mean, One-Eye Vina. To make waves means to shock or upset people with something new or different.
I may only have one eye, but I see what you mean. Make waves means 引起骚动，兴风作浪。
That's the way of it, One-Eye. If the new captain makes waves, he can wave me goodbye. I'll find me another ship.
Me too. We should get the others to join us.
Good idea. I'll talk to one-arm Brian. You talk to one-head Winnie.
Arr.
Arr.
Oh, so she's on the red carpet. I expect she's in a fancy dress, too. But let's find out why she made waves or caused some problems. The article says, this was due to her choice of shoes, or rather, her lack of them.
What?
Yeah. Now, here we're using the phrase due to mean because of something. So Julia Roberts made waves because of her shoes.
Okay.
Okay, now another way we can use due to in a sentence is the picnic was canceled due to bad weather. But that's not all.
Okay, but then it says, or rather, her lack of them.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we use the phrase or rather to add more information about something. Here, the extra information is that she didn't have any shoes.
That's right.
Okay. Here's an example sentence for or rather. I didn't sleep well last night. Or rather, I only fell asleep at 4 a.m.
Oh, that's pretty late. Now, going back to the article, you might be wondering why Julia Roberts went to this festival without shoes, especially because it's a very big one. Now, our article says, in 2015, several female guests had been turned away from one of the festival's events for wearing flats. Now, let's take a look at this phrase, turned away. To be turned away means to be refused or not allowed into a place. Now, for example, if you are below 19, you will be turned away from nightclubs.
Right.
You're too young to go in, so you have to go away. Now, that's interesting.
Okay, so going back to our article, several female guests were turned away, okay? So they were not allowed into the festival for a very silly reason, okay? They were wearing flats. Flats are shoes that are flat,
Which makes
means,
sense.
yes, they don't have heels.
Okay. Now, why would women get in trouble for wearing flat shoes or no shoes? That's my question. Now, the article tells us Roberts went barefoot to challenge the festival's rule that women must wear high heels to red carpet events. So it's a rule.
What?
Yeah. Now, before we go and look at this sentence a little bit further, let's talk about the adverb barefoot, which just means that she didn't have anything on her feet. No shoes, no socks, or anything else. So her feet were bare or had nothing on them. Now, she did this because she didn't like this festival's rule that women must wear high heels on the red carpet.
I don't think I like this rule either, especially because I have back problems. That would suck if somebody were to force me
to wear
high heels. Right. So high heels, we've been talking about this so much. I hope you guys know what that means. High heels, H-I-G-H space H-E-E-L-S, high heels are the raised part in the back of the shoe, okay? So they make the shoe kind of have like an angle, an arc, kind of, okay? You can have low heels, which are just called heels, and high heels, which can be as tall as 2 or 3 inches tall. Here's an example sentence. Tara's feet were sore after wearing high heels all night.
That happens to me. Now, here's a question we have all probably thought about before. What's the deal with these painful shoes anyway? Now, let's look at this adjective painful here. It's spelled P-A-I-N-F-U-L, painful. And if something is painful, it causes pain. It hurts you. And in an example sentence, we could say, if you're not careful, paper can give you a painful cut.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sure you all know that feeling.
Okay, the phrase, what's the deal with something, is used when we want to know more about something, like, what is the background information or situation with something? So in our article, what's the deal with these painful shoes anyway? We're asking to know more about these shoes.
And it's a very good question because I'm sure you've never heard this before. The article says hundreds of years ago, high heels were originally designed for men, not women.
So men were wearing these high heels
Before women were.
That is really interesting. Our article says, in fact, they were even considered necessary for Persian soldiers. Our vocabulary word, necessary, 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 means that it was needed or required. Let's use it in an example sentence. It's convenient to get around Taipei by bus or MRT, so owning a car isn't necessary.
That's right. Now, let's talk for a second about Persian soldiers, just to find out who they were. Now, Persia was the name of the country that we now call Iran. Now, Iran is located in the Middle East, and the Persian Empire back then was once a very large area of the Middle East, and it had many soldiers. But why were high heels necessary for soldiers, though? The article says, when Persian soldiers rode horses, they used high heels to keep their feet in the stirrups.
Stirrups. What is
Now,
a stirrup?
This is an interesting word.
okay.
It's not something you hear very often. So when you ride a horse, you need to put a saddle on it so you can sit comfortably.
Oh, okay.
And on the saddle, 2 strips hang down on the side for people's feet. So at the end of the strips is a little place you can put your feet inside, kind of like they hold your feet in.
Ah, okay.
And that's the stirrup, that little place that you put your feet.
Okay, so why was it necessary for the soldiers to keep their feet in stirrups? Well, our article says this allowed them to stay steady on their horses as they used their bows and arrows.
Okay.
Okay, so our 4th vocabulary word for today is steady. S-T-E-A-D-Y, steady. It means to keep something in a particular position so that you aren't moving or shaking. Like when you need to hold a camera steady to take a picture.
Okay.
Let's use this word in an example sentence. Gary kept his hands steady as he sewed the button onto the sweater.
So if he doesn't hold the sweater, he might poke himself with the needle.
A very painful...
Another painful thing. Okay, so now we know where high heels come from, but let's start learning about why they became so popular. And it all started because of war. The article says, at the end of the 16th century, Persian leader Shah Abbas I wanted Europe's help to take down the Ottoman Empire. Now here the phrase take down means to remove someone or something from power. So Shah Abbas I wanted to take away the Ottoman Empire's power.
Okay, so the Ottoman Empire was the area that we now know as Turkey, which sits right between Europe and the Middle East, right?
That's right. Now, and because he wanted to do that, our article says Persian representatives started visiting the courts of Russia, Germany, and Spain. Now, we see a vocabulary word in this sentence, representative, which is spelled R-E-P-R-E-S-E-N-T-A-T-I-V-E. Now, a representative is a person that has been chosen to speak for or make decisions for somebody else or some other group. Let's use it in a sentence. We could say, a representative from each department will attend the meeting to discuss how the departments can work better together.
Okay, so now all these Persian representatives are in Europe, wearing high heels. What happened then? The article says, soon after, European men adopted the Persian representatives' shoes as their own preferred symbol of masculinity.
That's a long sentence.
Yes, that is. Okay, so let's first take a look at the word adopt. Okay, so adopt. A-D-O-P-T. It's a verb. Adopt means to decide to start using a plan or an idea for yourself.
Okay.
So European men saw the Persians' shoes, and I guess they decided they liked them. Maybe they were like, hey, you look taller. And they started to wear them too.
Okay.
Here's an example sentence for the word adopt. After the famous actress cut her hair very short, other women adopted the same haircut.
I think we've seen that happen before. Now, we also saw that high heels became a symbol of masculinity. Now, masculinity describes the qualities or features that we usually give to men.
Okay.
So, for example, we usually think about women when we see skirts because women usually wear skirts. But in the 16th century, only men wore high heels, so they were masculine shoes, or they showed men's masculinity.
It's kind of weird to kind of picture men wearing high heels right now, eh? Okay, well, that brings us to the end of today's article, but we're not quite finished yet.
That's right, so stay tuned for our For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
Okay, so our For You Chat question for today is, what is your opinion of the Cannes Film Festival rule? Explain your answer.
All right, well, I have to be honest, I think this is a terrible rule.
Of course it is.
The reason for that is because as a woman, high heels are not comfortable at all.
They are not.
Now, I like the way they look, and when I was younger, I wore high heels all the time. And I still do have some high heels, but I haven't worn any of them in over a year.
Okay.
Because they just hurt my feet.
They are not comfortable.
No.
They're the complete opposite of sneakers or even flip-flops, right?
And so even when I go out to dinners or parties now, I don't wear them. And I have to say, I'm much happier in my flats. My feet are happier. I'm happier. Everyone's happier.
Well, you know, even today, flats are made to look very nice, too. Like,
It's
very
true.
formal. You can even get ones with pointed tips.
Right.
So, honestly, I don't see the reason for why we need to wear high heels.
Right.
If we, you know, if it's a matter of, you know, if it looks good or not,
Right.
right?
And the women from the festival who were turned away had very nice shoes on. They were at a festival with lots of famous people. They
Right.
weren't just wearing
Flip-flops.
They were wearing very nice shoes, but with no heels.
Yeah.
So I think this rule, it's not great. I think they should kind of get rid of it.
It's not fair, I think,
it
too,
isn't.
right? Because, like I was telling you guys earlier, I have back problems. So it would be unfair to tell somebody to wear high heels when, you know, it would affect their health.
Right.
So, yeah, this rule sucks.
It would be a good thing to think about removing it, which is why Julia Roberts did that. She wanted to challenge the rule and make them think about, oh, you know, maybe women shouldn't have to do what we say, right? Which is a big thing. But that's all the time we've got for our For You Chat today. Stay tuned for the next day of our article to find out more about high heel history. For now, this is English for You, and I'm Erin.
And I'm Angeline.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
High heels, fashion or foolish? World's famous actress Julia Roberts made waves on the red carpet at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival. This was due to her choice of shoes, or rather, her lack of them. In 2015, several female guests had been turned away from one of the festival's events for wearing flats. Roberts went barefoot to challenge the festival's rule that women must wear high heels to red carpet events. What's the deal with these painful shoes anyway? Hundreds of years ago, high heels were originally designed for men, not women. In fact, they were even considered necessary for Persian soldiers. When Persian soldiers rode horses, they used high heels to keep their feet in the stirrups. This allowed them to stay steady on their horses as they used their bows and arrows. At the end of the 16th century, Persian leader Shah Abbas I wanted Europe's help to take down the Ottoman Empire. Persian representatives started visiting the courts of Russia, Germany, and Spain. Soon after, European men adopted the Persian representatives' shoes as their own preferred symbol of masculinity.
Vocabulary Review.
Heel. Marissa loves wearing her favorite red high heels to parties. Painful. The little boy is crying because he has a painful bee sting on his leg. Necessary. The dentist tells all his patients that it's necessary to brush their teeth twice a day. Steady. Please hold the ladder steady while I climb up and get the ball off the roof. Representative. The politician wasn't able to make it to the meeting, so he sent his representative instead. Adopt. Young children usually adopt their parents' way of speaking.